A West Point police officer is now under investigation. We'll have that story and more coming up on WCBI News.
WCBI News at 6 starts now.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Breaking news out of West Point. An officer is terminated after news of an ongoing investigation at the department.
We first told you about this investigation online earlier today. Multiple sources tell WCBI that a state agency is investigating an officer, and it could be linked to some missing money. WCBI's Scott Martin is standing by live in West Point with the very latest.
And Andrea, Police Chief Avery Cook tells us the investigation centers around one officer and not the entire department. He also says the investigation started at the beginning of this month when he took office. We're told the Attorney General's office is conducting the investigation along with another agency. An AG spokesperson, though, could not confirm or deny that there was an investigation. West Point Chief Operating Officer Randy Jones and Chief Cook could not comment on specifics of the investigation. Jones did say Detective Sean Keller was terminated late this afternoon by the Board of Selectmen for misconduct. Well, this vote came after a briefing with Chief Cook. Jones couldn't say if the AG's investigation is a result of Keller's termination. We're told that Keller has been with West Point Police since 2003. Of course, this is a developing story. We'll continue to follow it and bring you updates. For now, reporting live in West Point, Scott Martin, WCBI News.
You may remember from yesterday the two teachers arrested for allegedly having a student obtain prescription drugs for them. Elena Harris and Jill Todd were charged with inducing a minor to commit a felony. The two were arrested yesterday after reportedly having a 16-year-old student get Loratab and Adderall for them. According to Assistant District Attorney, the student was never in any danger and is being viewed as a victim. It's unclear if either woman has an attorney, and there has been no confirmation on if the teachers are still employed.
Yalobusha County deputies say those two Water Valley teachers used text messages to communicate with the students involved in the case. They also believe social media apps were another source of communication between the teachers and the student. Snapchat, that is one social media company that has been served a search warrant by investigators. Deputies believe there might be messages stored on their servers that could provide more information for the investigation. Studies show Snapchat is a very popular app for teens. Our Jory Talley joins us live from the WCBI newsroom with more.
Social media is a way to communicate through pictures, videos, and even messages. It's a popular app for teens and people between the ages of 18 and 24 years old. Now, once you send that snap, it disappears from your phone. Although it disappears, it never leaves the online world. What's the biggest app that y'all use?
Definitely Snapchat.
Y'all, as in teenagers. Studies show that 71% of users are under the age of 35. This teen has around 200 Snapchat friends and says she snaps more than anything else.
It's easier to do. You can just take a picture and send it. With texting, you have to write out what you want to say, and you can just send a picture. It's smiling, it's anything.
Click, snap, send.
WCBI is here.
Once you send the snap, you can't see it again. Computer Science and Engineering Undergraduate Studies Director, Dr. Sarah Lee, says most Snapchat users think once a snap is sent, it's gone forever. But in reality, nothing from the digital world disappears. That's why it's important for parents to educate their kids about safe online behavior.
A 12-year-old may not realize it, but one day they're likely going to be applying to get into college or applying for a job. And I know from experience that employers look online to see what they can find out about you.
New Hope High School counselor Billy Ray Lee says most students send or post things on social media before they realize consequences of what they are sending and its impacts. That's why educators try to get students to think before they type.
You say things on social media sometimes that you don't think about what the outcome is going to be down the road. You don't look at what will this cause. And we try to tell our kids, who's it going to affect, how's it going to affect them, and is it true? Don't put things out that you don't know is a fact.
The counselor also says it's important for students to know who they're friends with on social media. and many teens agree.
Just make sure you're Snapchatting with someone you know and you can trust, and don't send them anything you wouldn't want your parents to see.
Most social media accounts are easy for parents to monitor, but Snapchat is different.
There's nothing to stop people from just doing a screenshot of something that you Snapchat them. So I don't know of any software that allows you to just monitor that application.
All right, that's Jory Talley reporting from our newsroom.
All right, time to turn things over to Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson. Here's a first look at our forecast. Keith?
Things have been pretty nice out here today in West Alabama. Right now in Vernon at Durham's Pharmacy, a little bit of high cirrus clouds action on the western horizon. In Tupelo, you can see the setting sun. A lot of 60s now, some 50s showing on up here across northeast Mississippi and West Alabama. 59 in Vernon, 57 in Oxford, and 56 at the Air Force Base in Columbus. This evening, 50s developing now, then some 40s, mainly clear as we go throughout the course of the evening. Our lows tonight down to around 40 degrees, not as chilly as last night. Tomorrow, though, we zoom back up into the 70s. More on your full forecast in just a few minutes.
All right, Keith, thanks a lot. The Monroe County Circuit Clerk's building is still with no form of communication to this evening. It's been 5 days since phone and internet services were cut throughout those county offices because of a severed fiber optic cable, that is. Monroe County Chancery Clerk Sonny Clay says the needed part to fix the service is still not available. 400 summons apparently have been sent out to citizens for jury duty. 200 of them are supposed to call in on Sunday afternoon to let employees know if they will be reporting for duty. Now, if you did receive a summons for jury duty there in Monroe County, you should expect to receive further instructions and information in the mail. Those mailings, we told, went out today. Driving throughout town in Columbus may soon become a little bit smoother. Last Tuesday, city leaders approved more than a dozen traffic signal improvements to be made to help ease the traffic flow. Our
Quentin Smith talks with residents and the city engineer about these changes. He joins us in the studio.
Joey, it's been just over a decade since any changes have been made to the traffic signals here in the Friendly City. Residents tell me the changes are long overdue, but with them now in place, they believe it's something everyone will benefit from.
Waiting on the red light to turn green on College Street and 11th Street South can feel like forever. Just ask Sam Murphy. He lives near that intersection.
Yeah, that light does take a long time, but again, you have a lot of that dump truck traffic coming up from the south side.
The longtime Columbus resident says he'd also like to see changes made at the intersection on Gardner Boulevard and Highway 50.
That's a busy intersection there, and just to have nothing, I mean, you're taking your life in your hands when you go out, you know, try to pull out on the road there.
Changes are now coming to both of those intersections, along with several others in the city.
The regulations really haven't changed over the last 10 years. However, traffic patterns have, technology has, so signals and controllers, LED signals, energy efficient things have come along that we're taking advantage of.
After doing an evaluation on all of the city-owned traffic signals, city engineer Kevin Stafford discovered 4 signals needed to come down.
Those 4, 2 of them are on College Street at 6th Street and 15th, and then one is at 7th Street and 2nd Avenue North. The third is at Martin Luther King and Bell Avenue. All 4 intersections will go to an all-way stop.
Meanwhile, the intersections at Blue Cut Road and Lee Drive, Military Road and Ridge Road, and Gardner Boulevard and Highway 50 will all have traffic signals installed.
What we're doing with the 4 signals coming down, we're going to reuse some of that equipment to go up at 2 of those 3 new intersections. And then the Blue Cut and Lee Drive, because it's so large, we don't really have the equipment there. It's going to be a total new equipment redesign, or new design, new equipment installation.
Stafford says Columbus Light and Water will upgrade controllers and signal heads at 8 intersections to change the timing on the lights. Overall, 19 intersections will receive immediate upgrades. Stafford believes these changes are something both residents and drivers will appreciate.
Changing the timings only again helps the efficiency of the intersection flow, which again increases the level of service that it can provide to the traveling public.
Now, Stafford says the light at the 4 intersections that will be coming down are already flashing red to get people used to stopping at those intersections. Stafford also says he's working with MDOT on possibly making changes to 3 roads off Main Street. Andre, back to you.
Coming up, now that fall
Yeah,
and Halloween
I
are
think
here,
the
more
intro was
people are
fine.
wearing orange, but one group today was donning the color for a completely different reason. We'll tell you why when we come back.
You're watching WCBI News at 6 with Andrea Self and Joey Barnes.
Welcome back. Some students at New Hope High School wore the color orange today, but not because it's Halloween season. The Cool to Be Kind Club sponsored the high school's 3rd annual Unity Day. The entire student body filled the gym this morning. The program was focused on bullying and its effects on students. Many of those students wore orange, calling for an end to bullying. Organizers say the event is designed to ask students what their true colors are when it comes to the issue. The program featured several special guests, including speakers from Community Counseling Services and Safe Haven.
In the 3rd grade, students begin to learn their names and their times tables. And when the numbers don't add up, you can guarantee one teacher is teaching 10 times over until her students get it right. That educator is 3rd grade teacher Deborah Brown. She teaches at West Oktibbeha Elementary School in Sturgis. During math, her students problem solve by answering equations out loud. Ms. Brown says she teaches her students how to spot their mistakes and learn from them. We asked the teacher what message does she have for her class. Here's what she had to say.
Oh, I would tell them definitely I love every last one of you. Every one of you to the last inch of you. And for them to keep believing in themselves and justifying those problems and succeed.
And she pushes them to reach their potential every day. She never lets them settle. And she's just an amazing lady.
It's always good to be loved. Over 90% of Ms. Brown's students had the highest proficiency rate in math in the state. To nominate a teacher, visit our website, WCBI.com.
Well, look at this. 77 degrees tomorrow, lots of sunshine, pretty nice and warm. We are watching the front that will be blasting on through here late Friday. That will cool us down for the weekend. The full forecast is next.
WCBI's Educator of the Week is brought to you by Food Giant, where your neighbors are the owners. Your first alert forecast with Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson.
A great sunset developing, a live look in downtown Columbus, looking back to the west. Some of those wispy cirrus clouds, yet another winner of a sunset. A pretty nice day overall. Let's talk about high school football. We have some games being moved to tomorrow evening. Very nice, very similar to this evening, 60s and some 50s after a very warm day tomorrow. Friday evening, 50s and 40s, cool and wet. A cold front's coming on in. We may see a storm or two as well, but more unsettled Friday. Right now, pretty tranquil across the Twin States. We've got mid-50s to the mid-60s. Much warmer across the high plains right now. Dallas at 79, 73 in Wichita. We are mentioning those because we should be in the mid to upper 70s here tomorrow, and maybe a shot at some low to mid 70s on Friday too. Cooler air lurks up there in Canada. Look at all that blue, and that front is coming into the United States. It will give some snow up here across North Dakota and Minnesota as we get into the next 24 to 48 hours. Now, we don't have to worry about the snow. We will be affected by this air mass that is in Canada right now. It is moving south. So after the 70s tomorrow and probably Friday, we fall back into the 50s for your Saturday and Sunday, and another chance for a frost or freeze Saturday night or Sunday night around here. This morning we were down into the low to mid 30s, and we're going to do that again this weekend. For Thursday, a lot of sunshine here across the board. 48 degrees at 8 o'clock. A jacket needed in the morning, but by noon it's 71 degrees. You can ditch the jacket as you venture in out for your lunch. 77 degrees, our forecast high tomorrow afternoon. A little bit cooler in Alabama, a little bit warmer closer to the Mississippi River, a shot at 80 degrees. Here's Futurecast as we go throughout the course of the night into our day tomorrow. A lot of sunshine, southerly breezes here, mostly sunny. And then there's the front. It's still back to our west Friday morning, and we'll start to move on through our area sometime Friday afternoon. Most of the rain will be along and behind the front, so this is not one of those severe weather episodes, but we will see some showers linger here 7 o'clock Friday evening for some of those football games, and then a cold rain for Friday evening and Friday night. We may see a 1/4 of an inch to maybe 3/4 of an inch, perhaps a little bit more or less depending on your location with the front on Friday. And temperatures will probably warm back up into the 70s Friday in a good chunk of the area. And then by the evening, the front moves through. We're down into the 50s, and then the 40s develop, and that will usher in that cooler weather for the weekend. So here's our 7-day: 77 tomorrow, 75 on Friday. Afternoon and evening rain on Friday. Most of the weekend should be fairly sunny. The rain exits by midday Saturday, but just a chilly weekend. Highs in the 50s, lows in the 30s.
Coming up, we run through postponed high school football games and Mississippi State women's basketball media day tour in Starkville. We'll hear from Vic Schaefer and the Bulldogs next in sports.
WCBI Sports with Robbie Donahoe is brought to you by your local Ford dealers. Go further.
With the threat of rain and weather in the area for this Friday, our high school football coaches moving up game times to avoid that weather, meaning the Friday games move to Thursday, our crucial contest for division and playoff seeding. So here's those games that have been moved to Thursday. If you don't see your game listed on this graphic, it's still scheduled for Friday. Shannon Pontotoc and Selgent Vernon are 2 games of the week. Those are going to be on Thursday. Amory Moorville, Itawamba, Caledonia, Knoxman, New Hope all Thursday, along with North Pontotoc, Manatachee, and Nettleton Houston, but you already knew about Nettleton Houston being played on Thursday. And then 2A games, Walnut, Bruce, Eupora, Calhoun City, plus LaFleur County, East Webster on Thursday, Sebastopol, French Camp, TCPS on the road, Knox, Bader, Vardaman, Ethel, West Lowndes also on Thursday as well. We'll have a full post of listing each game when it's being played on our website later this evening. To college football, Mississippi State takes their show on the road this Saturday to a hostile environment in College Station. It's usually around this time of year when Texas A&M goes into its tailspin, and the Bulldogs hope they're the one to do it again and start that trend again. But the Aggies won't be startled by what they see from the Bulldogs this Saturday.
They're extremely well coached, offensively, defensively, and special teams wise. You know, they've blocked a lot of punts. Special teams wise, you got a great punter. Offensively, you know, we've all talked about what they do and how they've been able to run the ball and create explosive plays through that. Always going to be have really good team speed and be physical. So it's a really a big challenge for us.
6:15 p.m. kick. MSU A&M will have Georgia, Florida here on WCBI. Ole Miss at 11 a.m. against Arkansas, and finish it off with Tennessee, Kentucky on the SEC network. College basketball, Hail State hoops closing in on tip-off of the new season, and after a storybook run to the national title a season ago, Vic Schaefer and the Bulldogs expect more this season, but this year's senior class will be dependent on to do more than last year's group.
Leadership and maturity are either going to be what make us or break us this year. If we have leadership, if we have servant leaders, if we have that and we have maturity, we're going to be fine. Just because you're 22 years old and you've been playing basketball 10 years doesn't make you a mature basketball player. So I think that piece is critical right now. Those 4 seniors, I need them to continue to do what they're doing on the court, but I need them to do more off the court.
I think we have to lead by example. I mean, you can only explain things so many times, and so at one point they have to look to us for guidance and for support and to tell them it's okay, you're going to screw up, you're not going to get it on the first day. And so we went through that, and so we just have to remind them of that as well.
Last year's team was great. Last year's seniors were great, so I feel like we have another role to play. We can't play the same role as they played because we didn't reach the goals that we wanted to reach. So I feel like this year's seniors, we have something to strive for that's even better because we got to try to get first place now instead of second place. And I feel like we just been together all the time and just been trying to put the team on our back.
We will have much more on MSU women's hoops coming up tonight at 10. And our student athlete of the week will feature Clark Mills of North Pontotoc. And once again, if you don't know when your game being played for high school football, either Thursday or Friday, we will put up the full list of our area games online on our website at WCBI.com. That's it for sports. Last look at your forecast.
Halloween may be all about the kids, but the folks at Shaggy Hound are also thinking about man's best friend. The 3rd annual Halloween Bash kicked off this morning in Starkville. Pets and owners showed up and showed out with some costumes. Got a little bow tie there. But this is a good photo op for the owners and pets.
Yep, and everybody who comes by gets entered in a costume contest, I understand. And all of the puppies, of course, get treats, which they deserve.
Of course they do.
Because you
after
dress them
being-
up in those silly costumes. I don't know if they
love
really
it.
like it. What do you think, Keith?
I don't. Well, they actually are content.
They
but,
actually really like it.
I'll dress up in the costume if I get a treat.
Hey,
Okay.
you get your chance coming up next week.
I'm bringing
All right.
buttercream ice
Buttercream,
tomorrow.
all right.
Good night, everybody.